Welcome to Doing It My Way by Beata Matras, a podcast about project and product management, communication, brand, and IT. All these topics will definitely improve and have a positive impact on your career. So join me today, subscribe, and expect a new episode every week. Thank you. Today, I'm thrilled to have Ahmad Afzal, Director of Product at Dtek.ai. And Ahmed has an impressive career with over 7 years of experience in product management, leading innovative projects across different industries. From advancing retail through AI at Dtek.ai to helping unprivileged children learn programming, Ahmed's journey is an inspiring and impactful. He is also a passionate advocate for neurodiversity, sharing his own experiences with ADHD and how it has shaped his professional life. So, welcome, Ahmad. It's great to have you here. Thank you for accepting my invite.
Thank you, Beata. It's great to be here. I'm definitely looking forward to it.
Yeah, so I'll move to the first question, which will be about your career and journey. So, what inspired you to pursue a career in product management, and how has your journey evolved over the years?
Honestly, I never thought of being a product manager. I don't think I'm a product manager yet. I started coding while I was a kid, and I started building websites while I was still in school. And then when I came out, I founded a startup out of nowhere. I don't know how, but I was doing multiple things. I was trying different things. Now I know that I had ADHD. I had different issues going on with me, but I was trying different things. I founded a startup and worked on it for 2 years, made it successful, launched it, got 50,000 users in 2 months, but then had to shut it down because of some legal nuances. Uh, After that, I went on to failing two more micro startups, I would call very small startups. And I realized one thing that I love to build and break products, build and break things. And while I was graduating, I was looking what I should do. I had hands-on experience with coding development, web development, artificial intelligence. I did my final year project building a Mamdani fuzzy inference system to diagnose major depressive disorder. Uh, I realized that all of the things that I have done in my startup, working with the team, understanding the users, segmenting the market, understanding the needs of different uh, customers, working with investors, partners, doing stakeholder management, delegating tasks. I thought that product management is something that fits me well. And also, I make a joke sometimes that after failing so many startups, I thought it's better to fail products on someone else's expense, not on mine. So, yeah, that's why I came into product management. And I joined this consulting firm based out of New York back in 2019 as a product associate and started working on uh, a news aggregator for financial world, and it was built on IBM Watson's AI. And from there, I kept on working on diverse range of industries like healthcare, Web 3.0, crypto, real estate, ad tech, and some into gaming as well. Uh, After that, in 20, like moving fast forward 2023, because of some political instability in my country, I came to Dubai. I started looking for opportunities and I found a really good opportunity to work for a product that I thought is going to grow big and has a lot of potential. So I joined DTech, started working there, and I believe that I made some impact so far. And also, the biggest thing I believe I have made impact in is the network that I have made in the region after coming here, and I have made so many friends. And I think, yeah, that's the brief intro about me. Outside of product management, I'm doing a lot of different things. I would say I run a design agency. I usually work on weekends, but there is a full-time team that works on the different client requirements. They build websites. We have a couple of Fortune 500 companies in our portfolio as well. So that is something else that is going on. I'm doing things that are very disconnected. And then I am into mobile accessories manufacturing business as well with my brother. So I'm doing things that are very disconnected. And on the other hand, I'm into sports. I play cricket. I play table tennis, and I just try to keep myself busy because again, like I cannot sit idle for a long time, and I have to keep myself busy.
Oh, okay. Okay. That's very interesting. And you mentioned that you've worked across various industries and various companies. So, how do product management practices differ in different sectors, if at all?
I always say this to my peers and the people that I hired that product management is fairly about understanding the people you work with and understanding the people you are building for, and everything else, the frameworks, the all the nitty-gritties, all the jargon, it comes into place. Uh, a good product manager is always industry agnostic. They know how to work in the problem space, how to understand the pain points of the user, how to articulate them, how to synthesize the data and build something that is useful, viable, and can be monetized in the future so the business can run. So that's the whole, I would say, crux of product management. And it can be applied to any industry. Yes, there are some specific industries that have some regulatory nuances that you have to learn if you want to be a part of that. But again, I believe a good product manager can learn that. Like it's a matter of weeks. You can learn about regulatory and different factors that are into play regarding fintech or healthcare or this and that. You can learn that, but the foundations remain the same. That you're solving a problem for someone, either it's B2C or B2B. You are still solving a problem for a human at the end. So it can be a person who is sitting at the home and he's using some app to save some time or be more productive. Or it can be a factory worker who is using your product as an enterprise product and uh, he's getting more productive, or the company is making more money, or the company is saving more time, or they are reaching out to more customers. So at the end, it comes down to understanding humans that you're working with and humans you are building for. That's it.
Yeah, and I really how simply you put it, yeah, that we need to understand the people who are we working with, and also the customers, yeah, the people we're building the products for. Yeah, that's very simple, but hard to implement, of course, as always in life. So maybe let's dive into more product management, but more into like how you approached job searches with a product management mindset that you shared during the Dubai Product Tank. So, how can job seekers productize their job search? What does the process look like?
So I have been hiring for product roles for last like 5 years, and I have seen different candidates coming with different approaches. And when I came to Dubai, I was still like doing my jamming to which country I want to go to. There was Germany and Dubai and some other countries, and then Dubai came on the top. Uh, I was trying to think that how the market behaves, how I can get in very easily when there is a very tough competition. And the market is starting to learn about product management and it is getting fancier day by day. How I can come up with some innovative or I would say unorthodox approach that can help me get in fast. Because I had interviewed so many people, I had hired so many people, I knew that all of the people, most of the people, they follow the same steps when they are job hunting. They follow the same traditional steps. They look for a job, they look for recruiters, they send them messages, they apply for the job, they click on the apply button, they click on the easy apply button on LinkedIn, and then they put their CV there, and then they wait. They wait for the response. And I think right now, when we have only handful of recruiters in the region and a lot of candidates, I would say if we talk about in stats, for one job, there are hundreds of people out there. You can see that on LinkedIn. Whenever there is a new job post regarding product, in next 10 minutes, you will see there are 100 applicants. So it's fairly impossible to just apply and then wait for the opportunity. Instead, if you try to go out there, present yourself, or find ways to, I call it, create your GTM, create your go-to-market strategy. So if I started from the phase one that I talked about in Product 10, there is discovery phase, where you learn about yourself, your strengths, where you are good at. Once you are done understanding your strengths, you learn about the market, what are the gaps in the market, where you can help the market. So you can create a very simple impact value canvas where you can put all the gainers and the pain points and how you can help them get more gains, how you can help them reduce the pain points, and then you can map the gaps and the strengths that you bring in.
You mentioned about the gaps in the market. So, how did you identify what problems certain companies are having? Was it by networking? Was it um, by the research? How did you manage to find that gaps?
I would say, again, before starting all of this, put your product hat on and do what you do at your product job. How you start discovery at your product. When you start looking for competitors or you are doing competitor analysis, uh, there are different ways to do it. You can do it online. You can search about those companies online. You can go to Crunchbase or other websites where you can see if they have raised money previously and they have enough room to have a product team and pay for them, and they have a long or good runway room. Or you can go to LinkedIn. You can see how their product team looks like. You can go to their LinkedIn page and you can see uh, if someone senior from the product team have left previously or joined recently. You can see all these stats. And then there is very interesting way that I use whatever product I am after or a company I'm after. I search that company on Reddit. If you search something on Reddit, for example, you search Kareem on Reddit, you will
Yeah.
see thousands of people talking about it.
Oh,
And then people
wow.
are talking good things about it. People are talking bad things about it. That's where you can find the gaps easily.
It's like looking for the feedback from the customers. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ah, that's very interesting. It's yeah,
So
it's advanced stalking, I would say.
you have to be a really good stalker if you are a product
Yeah.
manager. It's a bit
Yeah.
of a cliche. I mentioned in the product tank event as well, but you have to be a really good stalker. You have to, for example, there are AI tools. Uh, I said like identify your companies, identify their contact persons, for example, hiring managers, VP of product, director of product, and then learn about them. They are AI tools or extensions that you can use to understand more about them or to help you understand their personality so that you can curate your icebreaker accordingly. For example, I want to know what is your personality type, Beata? So there is a tool that you can use as a Chrome extension. And if I open your LinkedIn account, it will tell me your Brig Mayor's personality type.
Really? Oh my
Yeah.
God.
So,
Okay, I have to
and then
ask
I
you
can,
later on how. Yeah.
yes, I can understand your archetype. What are your interests? I can get those things easily. And then there are tools like line.ai, copy.ai, where I put your LinkedIn profile, and this will give me a very specific icebreaker that I can use to reach out to you. And you will be amazed. It will be sometimes scary because it gets the information that even you are not aware about. That on that date, at that event, you talked about that thing. I really loved about this. This is my comments or my feedback or my take on this is XYZ, and then you start your conversation. So there are tools out there. There are ways to really understand the people that are hiring for those roles. Again, the way you understand your customers, try to understand your hiring managers.
Okay, that was really interesting. So this is first part, discovery, where you are defining your why. You are doing the SWOT analysis. You target specific companies, make the gap analysis of the market, and prioritize the companies. Yeah, based on the kind of scores or weights that you align to those. What's the next step?
So once you are clear what you're going to do, so once you are clear what a product manager does, what are the companies that you are going after, and what are the strengths that you are bringing to the table, what are the people in those companies that you are going to connect with. Now you have to plan. Now you have to plan how to do it. You cannot do it all at once, right? As a product managers, a little part of our job is to own a backlog, right? Be a product owner sometimes, understand the priorities, and then shuffle those priorities. So you have to plan it. So I always say that uh, use trackers, use ticketing system. For example, you use Trello, you use Jira, you use ClickUp for your product jobs. Use it for your product search as well. Put everything there and then prioritize it. For prioritization, come up with prioritization framework, just like you do in your product jobs. For example, if you remember my product tank talk, I mentioned North Star metric. I had a really specific North Star metric to prioritize what I'm doing first and what I'm doing later. And then that product North Star metric has had its dimensions, and each dimension has some specific KPIs. So prioritize, and whatever you think is not aligning with your success metric, discard it. You don't need to do it. So you bring more focus to what you are doing. And again, while you are on this journey, think of it as iterative, again, as product development. If it doesn't work, for example, you shortlisted top 10 companies and you are going through the process, it doesn't work, do it again, refine it, fine tune it, because you have a tracker in place, you have a success metric, you can see the data, you will have a better understanding of where you went wrong, where you can improve. So you can really find those pitfalls and you can improve on them. So the second part is planning. And in planning, I always talk about uh, the job portals. There are so many out there in the region, but 80% of the hirings happen through LinkedIn. So discard all the other platforms, focus on LinkedIn, optimize your LinkedIn. Like half of the LinkedIn profiles that I see when we receive resumes of product managers are shit. They don't have a prop. I have to say it unfiltered that they are shit.
Yeah.
They don't have a proper headline. They don't. It's all over the place. They are confused in product management, project management, agile delivery. They don't know what they want to do. So bring focus to it. And I think being product managers, we keep touching different skills. So there is one skill which is search engine optimization, where you find out the keywords that are really working, the keywords that people are searching for. I have shared a very specific method to find those keywords and use those keywords in your profile. So you can be seen.
I'm actually wondering after your speech because I reviewed the presentation. I found like a lot of great ideas there, but I'm wondering how many people will actually, implement that. It's a lot of work. You put a lot of work. I know that you within six weeks you found the job in Dubai. So yeah, that was like a lot of preparation, a lot of like well thought strategy. But I'm wondering right now how many people will actually use it and like get the job like that.
Okay, I don't have a lot of data, but after that talk, I met so far around 8 people individually,
Yeah,
and they are curious about that framework. They want to learn
yeah,
more about that framework. People understood what I shared, but
yeah.
people are still confused. People want confirmation that can you please review my LinkedIn and see if I have done it right? I say yes, it is right. You don't have to copy what I am doing. Find your own way. So whatever the framework is, you don't have to copy it like exactly. It's just a direction. And then come up with your own way. You are unique, you are creative, come up with your own way, and I think it will work. And if it doesn't work, do it again, test it, keep doing it.
Yeah. Okay. So right now we have North Star metrics. We have planning. We have planned the tasks. We did the LinkedIn enhancements. What's next?
GTM, go to market, execution, how you are going to connect with those people that you have shortlisted from all those companies. What people do on LinkedIn is they send a very specific message that, hey, great to connect with you. I am XXX and I see that you work at this company and I would be interested in that role. I would tell you that hiring managers get these types of messages like uh, 10 times a day and no one bothers. Why would someone bother? Because you are making it about yourself, not about the other person. So again, when we talk about product marketing, we create email sequences, right? And we send those email sequences out one by one on different times of the day, of, of different times of different days, to ignite that curiosity in the other person, and eventually they buy your product or they buy your service. So you can apply the same thing here. If you have done the good research, if you have done the good discovery, you know a lot about that company and that person. Start with an icebreaker, and then comment on something about them that they have posted recently, and then give them some time. Don't bombard them with messages. just like an email sequence. And then after a few days, you can share that I have seen this gap in your product, or I have seen that you're starting a new product line in this category, for example, artificial intelligence or this. I bring this strength or this skill to the table, and I can help you build this by doing this. Be very specific how you can help. I'll give you an example. Let's assume I am an AWS cloud consultant, okay? And I want to tell you how would I help your company. The one way of telling that is, hey Beata, I can provide full stack AWS cloud services to your company. That is one way of doing that. And I think hundreds or thousands of services companies are doing that. Would you care? The other approach is, hey Beata, I can leverage AWS to bring down your operational cost by 15% per annum. Which one is better, the first one or this one?
Yeah, this one. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
you have to help people solve their problems. So businesses mostly care about the money and the time. So either save them money, save them time, or make them money. So that's what they care about. uh, and I think once you do that, they will be interested. And also, I ask this question from my teams: what is the difference between a good salesman and a great salesman? A
Yeah.
good salesman, he tries to get yes as an answer from the prospect, and when he does that, the probability of the prospect saying no is also 50%. So it's head on. You are selling something, he can say yes, he can say no. But a great salesman, he does not expect the prospect to say yes at first. He tries to minimize the probability of the prospect saying no over time. We also call it nurturing in marketing terms. So you nurture your contacts over time. And maybe the current role that person is hiring for is not for you, and you miss that. But if you nurture that connection, if you make a relation with that connection over time, it will help. Maybe he can refer you to some other role that fits you. Maybe there will be, I'm sure that if there is a company that is hiring for product roles, there will be new roles coming up in that company. So if you keep nurturing your contacts instead of just one-off connections where you expect either yes or no, it will help you in long term. For example, you are not looking for a job uh, for a lifetime. You might get a job now, but you're still looking for a better job. So you keep nurturing your contacts. You keep nurturing all those prospects over time, and you can expect better opportunities even in the future.
Yeah, that's very interesting, really. It's like, it's like basically relationship building and maintaining those. I mean, we call it, let's say, networking or whatever, but it's about, yeah, building and maintaining the relationships. And if it's not like very how to say that, if it's not like natural to you, you can learn that also. Yeah, you can put specific tools and metrics, as you said, and techniques. And right now I wanted to move to, because okay, we discussed the discovery, the planning, the execution, and right now I wanted to touch on the like specific methods that was the most effective in finding the right job. What would you say? I mean, what was the core, like, yeah.
Yeah, again, coming back to the framework, you have your accounts, you have your shortlisted companies. One thing that no one does here in this region, or maybe in other regions as well, which I do a lot actually, and it works for me, is when you know that this is your ideal company. I'm sure all the product companies, they have some VCs or investors, current investors or the previous investors. Reach out to those VCs. I mentioned it in my talk as well, that if you reach out to those VCs, what happens is, and if you make a good connection with them, you impress them, they can expose you to their portfolio of companies. Not only that company, but a portfolio of companies. So my example, I connected with someone who has invested in a fintech startup in this region. I made a good connection with him. I impressed him. I got him on a coffee chat, and then After talking to me, he sent an email out to eight different fintech companies he has invested in the past. And I got interview at two, and I landed a job at one, like offer at one. I didn't join it, but it can be a great tactic.
Yeah, it can be a great tactic. Although I'm thinking, like, the VCs can be like very particular about people who they are interacting with, and I'm wondering, like, where are actually the best like places to like speak with them? Is it like conferences? Is it like meetups? Are they even like attending meetups?
Meetups always help. So that is another angle to it of angle of reach out to your prospects. So networking events, it helps you a lot in connecting with people. But I try to not overshare information or do a lot of conversation with anyone in the meetups, because there are so many people and people get overwhelmed and then they forget things. The best thing I can do is like get their WhatsApp number or get something where I can shoot them a message next morning and then they will remember me. Or talk about something that is very like disconnected to the work. For example, if I'm at a meetup and I found a person, he was from Mexico, and Mexicans like spicy food. And I'm from Pakistan, I like spicy food. So I started talking about spicy food. And now, when I shoot this person a message next morning that we had a great conversation about spicy food last night, about tacos, he would remember me. He would remember me, and he would be more interested in that instead of me just sharing a resume or telling him that I am looking for a job. Can you please help me? So networks definitely help. The other thing that helps great, I call it sweat working, not networking, sweat working. So you go to gyms, you go to paddle courts, especially in this region. While I was doing my discovery, I found some specific gyms where all those prospects that I was after they go to in the evening. I joined one of them, and that is one of the greatest way to connect with them. You can go to gyms and then you can have very casual talks. Hey, where do you work? You already know it. You are a great stalker, but you make it look like that you don't know. Hey, where do you work? I have seen you somewhere in the conference. Oh, you work in fintech? uh, I would share my profile with you. I do this. I have built something that has 500,000 users, and we are doing this in fintech. So then you can get them interested, and it's a great way to get people interested and connect with you while you are in a gym, because they are really stress free. They are not overwhelmed, and they can like absorb a lot of information at that time. And again, in paddle courts, in sports clubs, uh, I think that's a great way to connect with people.
Yeah, it's more about like connecting with people when you're, for example, yeah, doing something that you also like going for a gym, or yeah, playing, as you mentioned before, like playing cricket, yeah, tennis. So yeah, okay, that's another interesting idea. But what about the interview process in particular? Because once you execute, and then you have like, oh my god, I have interviews. What's now?
I think the framework was more about job search. The interview part was missing. Uh, I would say the interviews are very subjective, but the same framework can help you in the interviews as well. If you have done a good research about the company, about their product, about the pain points of their customer, or Reddit or Google reviews or other platforms, then you can have very specific information for the interviews ready. And then you have your experience as well. So right now we are talking about the product managers that have some experience, 2, 3 years of experience or more than that. We're not talking about the freshies. So you have some experience, you know about the frameworks, foundations, and then there are techniques all across the internet and YouTube that you can find. There's a star technique that you can use. There is that technique that you can use to answer questions. So, and then there is a great resource, tryexponent.com, where you can do mock interviews before the interview. So you can do mock interviews with different people from different product managers from different companies, and then you can get some idea where you are at and what is the gap that you have to fill, and then you learn from there. And I would say that you will get rejected. Don't expect a job from the first interview. Take the first two
Yeah.
three interviews as a discovery as well. Like understanding where you are lacking. Because interviews in this region, and I have also given interviews in Germany, are really different. The understanding of the product is really different in different regions. People think differently about product. So in some regions, for example, you are giving an interview in a Silicon Valley product company. You need to be really good at product sense questions. Have to be really good at design questions. You have to be really good at defining success metrics, and you have to be really curious while you are answering those. In this region, it is really different. In Dubai, I didn't see interviews that get really deep into product sense questions. So it's different. It's different region to region. So I would say that uh, do your preparation, do some mock interviews. I have mentioned the website tryexponent.com. I think it's great. It helped me a lot, and give few interviews before you understand that what are the gaps that you have to fill. And I think you would do great. You would do great if you like spend some time on understanding that product and the people that are using it. You would do great. uh, as an interviewer, as a person who has hired a lot of people, I will tell you anyone who can tell me information about my company that is very specific, that is maybe not on my website, I would give more points to that person because I would know that that person has spent some effort in finding that out.
Very interesting and very, very useful for people looking for a job, not only in Dubai, but also like in different regions, because some basic, let's say, rules are, I think, universal across the different markets and the different countries. But one thing that I also like is very interesting is how to deal with rejection and countless failures, because very often at that point people give up, after one second, third interview, they give up because they didn't get a job. What to do, like how to deal with that?
I'm no motivational speaker. Uh, you can do yoga like we do. You can like distract yourself for a while. If you get a rejection, get some break maybe. Distract yourself for a while, do something else, and then come back to it. And I think uh, you will have to learn to be very comfortable with failures, even in the product role. So in the product role, we face failures every day. We're doing experimentation all the time. So there is no reason that you step back after one failure.
Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, it's more about accepting that the failure is like a natural part of our day to day rather than running away from it. And your strategies are incredibly insightful. But now let's move to more like personal topic, managing ADHD in the workplace. I saw your post on LinkedIn on that, and your words deeply resonated with me, especially. And I'm going to like read a part of your post right now. So it was like, it felt like my brain was a racing engine, constantly shifting gears, but lacking a clear direction. Decisions were made quickly, instinctively, not always with the best results. This is, as Daniel Kahneman describes, is system one thinking. Then finding out that that I had ADHD changed everything. It was like finally figuring out a big secret about myself. Suddenly this chaos had a name. And this shift has been a superpower in my product career. So you've been very open about your ADHD diagnosis. And how has this condition impacted your professional life?
I would say I never knew the word ADHD before 2022. I never knew it. I never knew that I had something wrong with me. I thought I am the best. I was the best. I can do everything. I think it goes back to the school days when I was performing really well in some subjects and performing really poor in some subjects. And the sentence I kept hearing from teachers and parents was, Ahmad is very smart, but he is irresponsible. I never knew what that meant back then because I was putting in all effort. And in one grade, I was performing really good in one subject particularly, but in the other grade, I was not performing really good in that subject, but I was performing better in some other subject. But now, fast forward today, I understand what was the variable there. The variable was the teachers in different grades. So there were teachers that understood the individuality of the kids. So the environment was different, how they behaved with the kids, with the students. And that's where I performed well because they took every kid as an individual and they treated them separately according to them. And then there are teachers who take the whole class as a one unit and then they just go about it that they have to complete the subject and they have to teach something. It started back from there, and after that, after finishing school, I was doing a lot of things. I never knew what I wanted to be. I wanted to be a cricketer. I played club cricket for 2 years. I wanted to be in army. I gave a test. I failed miserably there. I started my startup. I did a lot of things. I did a lot of things, and I never knew that it is something to do with my mind. And then I came into my professional life. Uh, while I was in university days, I founded my startup, and I did really good with my startup, and we can say those were some factors from ADHD, but get to that point later. I did really good. I was doing multiple things. I was earning money, and things were going really great when I joined this consultancy firm where I had to actually manage people of like the headcount was 26 under my team. Uh, it was that time when it got really difficult for me because before that, most of the times I was working alone or with very few people, 2 or 3 people. But when the team got bigger, uh, it got difficult for me to manage them because uh, I had all the energy in the room and I was moving really fast. And I never realized that most of the people don't move that fast. So there were a lot of conflicts, misalignments, and I was being impulsive uh, in decision making. So things were going that way, and I was trying to learn. I had few coaches and mentors who helped me back then. Uh, but the moment of realization came when there was a senior guy who joined our company, 20, 25 years of experience in consulting firms, and he understood me better than anyone else. He understood that I have a neurological diverse brain and I have something going on, and then he used it and then he used it on me. So he manipulated me. He knew that Ahmed can be manipulated that way because he's impulsive. So he tried all those triggers. He pressed all those triggers, and things got really worse for me. That was the time when I got migraines, chronic migraines lasting for 2 days, 3 days, and it was getting out of my hand. And that's when I asked for help. I went out there and I asked for help, and I got a coach who helped me understand that I have ADHD. So I went through a 3 month long program. It's a psychometric analysis and all of these things done through an institute in UK named as Hogan, very famous. It was that time when I seeked help, and then I understood that there were things going on with me, and there are different patterns that I have to learn. I have some weaknesses. I have some strong points, and there are some specific values I'm really strong at. I go by some very specific patterns. And after that, I think things changed for me because I had a clear vision of how my brain is working. So
Mm-hmm.
one thing that I see a lot on LinkedIn and social media these days is people are fantasizing ADHD as a superpower, but I think that's wrong. That's wrong. ADHD is a medical condition, I would say, and it should be treated as a medical condition, especially in the regions like UAE or my region, Pakistan, where mental health is still considered as a taboo, and people don't talk about it. I think it needs to be taken more seriously that it's a medical condition and it has the same diagnostic process like all other medical conditions. And once you understand what is ADHD, how ADHD brain works, how the normal brain works, and there are four neurotransmitters, or we call happy chemicals, dopamine, oxytocin, and then
Serotonin. Yeah.
serotonin and endorphin. So then you understand that what are the imbalances. And once you
Mm-hmm.
start understanding that, then you can learn more about how a human brain functions. And then even ADHD is very specific to every human being. Like the patterns that I have are very different. For example, I'm hyperactive after 12 a.m. I'm the most productive guy after 12 a.m. It can be different for someone else. I'm very productive when I have warm lights like this in the background. When I have white lights, I'm not productive. I get migraines. So there are different conditions, and then you forget things. For example, you take screenshots that you will come back to this later, and then that screenshot stays in your gallery for months and months to come. And then you buy books because again you have a imbalance of dopamine in your body as an ADHD brain. Uh, you try to get more dosage of dopamine by different ways. For example, you use maybe you can go on a binge watch of TikTok videos in the night, and then you get excess of dopamine, and then again there is an imbalance, and then you will get into that zone where you don't want to talk to anyone, and now you don't need any dopamine because you have excess levels of it. So it's always an imbalance. So at workplace, what I learned after that, sorry, I went really into the details of that. You asked a really
But it's
simple
very
question,
interesting. It's very
really simple.
interesting.
Yeah, but I'm coming to the question, which was how to uh, deal with ADHD in the workplace. So you can only deal with it once you understand it, how it is working, how your brain is working.
Mm-hmm.
So once I understood it, I started taking the approach of system two, where whenever there is a heated movement or an argument, you don't jump to conclusions. You sleep on it. For example, there is a concept amygdala hijack. There is a part of
Mm-hmm.
your brain that is called amygdala that is responsible for impulsive reactions. So it is very active in heated movements for first 6 seconds. If you pass those 6 seconds, you take like uh, you breathe in, breathe out, and you pass those 6 seconds, your reaction will be different. So there are techniques like that that you can learn or you can master, and then I think you can do great at workplace because you are not neurodiverse. You can really understand the people's feelings. You can really get close to them. You can be more empathetical as compared to the neurotypical people because you have gone through that. You have gone through a lot, and now you know that human brains work differently. So it's great to have once you understand it and you
Yeah.
channelize it and you channelize it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very important because if you don't channelize it, I think you are becoming your worst enemy in like, yeah, ADHD. Um, and can you mentioned that, ADHD people are very unique. Every ADHD diagnosis is like unique for each person. But can you share maybe some common struggles faced by people with ADHD in the workplace and how you deal with them, or just examples on from your experience?
Mhm. Yeah, I met one other ADHD person in the last year at workplace, and I think the common challenges that we face at a workplace is there are a backlog of tasks that we have to do, but we cannot focus and we cannot prioritize and we cannot even start. For example, for me, I have a list of tasks. I'll keep looking at that list for next 2 weeks, and then all of a sudden I'll get some energy. I don't know from where I get that. I'll start ticking off that task. We also call that eat that frog. So I'll start eating those frogs all of a sudden. And like there are those phases when you are at the lowest. That's where your peers, your managers, your team members, they really have to understand that this is very natural with you. And then there is a phase when you are really, really productive and you get things done like this. So it can be a challenge sometimes as well. Another challenge that I face a lot, uh, people sometimes laugh at me. I lose track of time. For example, I'm working on something. I started at 2 p.m., for example, and I had a meeting at 4 p.m. I'll keep working on the same thing till 6 p.m. and then I would remember, oh, I had a meeting. I would lose I would lose track of time. I lost I forgot that I had a flight in April to Pakistan, and I was sitting out with my friends in a restaurant. And then after that, I remembered, oh, I had a flight today. Where am I? So this happens a lot with me. I would also call it brain fog. So sometimes you get the brain fog. Brain fog is the third point, and it mostly happens when someone puts you on spot.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm sitting in a meeting, I know things better than maybe anyone else as a product leader. I know my numbers, I know my stats, I know what I'm going to do. But if someone puts me on spot, most of the times I would blank out. At that moment, I would not remember anything. People can laugh at that as well, but after some time, I'll remember everything and I can try to mitigate that. But that is the that brain fog is the real thing for ADHD people, I guess. And most of the times it happens that when you are meeting someone or you are in a conversation with someone, after the conversation you get all the good thoughts that I wanted to talk about that, I missed that, I had so much interesting to talk about, and but you remember that after the talk, after the conversation, and then you keep thinking, keep overthinking about that.
Yeah, yeah, but also I think the common struggle for ADHD people is that sometimes, yeah, you lose the kind of the conversation because you focus on something and you just, you just stay with this one thought that or one sentence that the person said, and you like stop following the rest of the conversation, and then someone is asking you, or like summing up, like you just, I don't know, like turn off in the middle of the conversation because you just caught a thought that is like starting to like grow in your mind, and you focus on that and like build a story on that and start asking questions. So that's, I think, also like a
There is
kind
a
of common
really
struggle to not get lost.
there is a really cool way, very very I would say obvious way to cope up with that, to deal with that. I take a lot of notes. I take a
Yeah,
lot
me
of notes
too.
all the time.
Every
Uh, People go crazy that work with
yeah,
me, that how much notes I take, how much
yeah,
documentation I do. I
yeah,
document my work day. Every day I come into workplace, I document the whole day. That's how my day will look like. And every day I miss that. I never like accomplish all of the tasks that I wrote in the morning, but it gives me direction. And then after weeks or after some days, I always do retrospective that I'm not being able to do these tasks, and then maybe I have to change my approach or this. But I write everything. I write everything because I can forget things like crazy. So it helps, especially when you are in a conversation with someone and uh, you lose your focus and you start to think about something else. If you have notes, you will be safe later.
yeah. I know. I mean, I don't know when I started noting like crazy, but yeah, I always have a notebook with myself. Always have a laptop, and like if I'm on a meeting, if I'm on a conference, if I'm yeah, anywhere. Sometimes like even even with friends, I have like this kind of it's like a habit. So sometimes when I'm in friends, when I want to like focus, I'm also like making, trying to make the note of what they just said. I mean, it would be useful, but I'm not doing that to not like let them know that, to not show them disrespect or something like that. But sometimes I want to focus so much on the other person, but I forget what they are just saying and how to like you know connect this, that I just want to take my notebook and start noting. But yeah, maybe this is too much. But yeah, noting is like very helpful, especially during the conversations like right now, for example, that we have. And yeah, but coming back to the topic of ADHD and the struggles, and also the motivation maybe and focus, because that's the biggest problem with ADHD. What are your like top three tips for maintaining motivation and focus when working in a fast-paced environment like product management or AI space or fintech or whatever, because that's very stressful and like harming a little bit to ADHD also because okay, we like you manage stress well. I mean, having ADHD, you can like work fast and so on, but it's also like energy draining, very energy draining.
So I would say, I don't remember the name of the study, but you cannot be productive for more than 4 hours a day. So find that slot, find your 4 productive hours in your day, and you can learn from the patterns, learn from the past that what are your 4 productive hours. Right now, I know my 4 productive hours. And once you know them, you know that in those hours, you have to get the most work done. For example, if we talk about 2080 principle, Pareto principle, you have to spend most of your energy in those 4 hours to get the most work done. Okay. First, identify that slot of hours that you're most productive in. Then give yourself frequent breaks. I do this a lot. I have frequent. So what I do is it's a little hack on calendar. So I put small meetings of 15 minutes after every 2 hours in my day, and it is always there. These meetings are always there, and those meetings are my breaks where I go for a walk, I get a coffee, I give myself some time, and then I come back so I can focus again. The third thing is I would say talk to people. Uh, when I say talk to people, be vulnerable. Share your weaknesses. Share what you have been going through. Uh, People underestimate other people. Humans are really great. People help you. Once you share your vulnerable side, uh, you get really comfortable around those people. So that's what I do. When I go to a new workplace, I get into a new team, I share my weaknesses really, really freely. Like, I have ADHD, this is my weakness. I cannot do this. I cannot do this for long. And then you get really comfortable. Then you don't have to maintain any image in front of people. You get really comfortable. They know everything about you then. So be vulnerable around people and seek help. I would say seek help whenever you need it.
Yeah, that's very important too. Yeah, to be open. Although it's not always easy, we all want to like maintain a professional, especially in business. I think we all want to like, keep this professional image that everything is fine. How are you? I'm good. I'm fine. I'm always fine. But the truth is like we have like, worse and better days. Yeah, we all are humans only. And yeah, sometimes there is like this I think expectation maybe in the business that we're going to be always ready, always like in a best pace, and always having the best days of our lives. But yeah, like life is different. Yeah, life is like a little bit unpredictable, and you can wake up in the morning and feel like, "Ah, it's not my day." Still, you will still do the job, of course, but with a slower pace. Yeah, and it's also fine. It's also okay. Um, yeah, so I agree with being vulnerable and everything what you just said before about the 4 hours, like finding the most productive time and also like blocking the time in the calendar for the breaks and yeah, being vulnerable with people. But I think the good start is also like being vulnerable with yourself.
It starts with the self discovery. It all
Yeah.
starts from a self discovery.
Yeah, it all starts here. Yeah, it all starts here. But coming back again to product management and to maybe more like a future of product management, because you're working in a company that is connected with AI. Yeah, I mean, Dtek.ai sounds like something connected to AI technology. But I want to ask about the emerging trends and innovations in product management that you're excited about. What are these?
I think very obvious artificial intelligence is going to take over. It is taking over. The revolution is there. It's unlike any other bubble that we have seen in the past. For example, we have seen the Web 3.0 bubble, we have seen the crypto bubble. Uh, AI is real and it's here. And I keep saying this that AI is not going to replace anyone. Just to give you a bit of a background, when printing press came in 18th century, a lot of the people, a lot of the writers, they thought their jobs are going away. They will get jobless, but that didn't happen. Overall metrics improved, overall employment rates improved with printing press. And then when we talk about steam engines, a lot of people who used to work before steam engines thought that they are going to be jobless. But after steam engines, things got improved. We have seen industries, the employment rate gotten up. So the metrics improved. Again, with the computers, the mathematicians thought that they will go out of jobs, but it didn't happen. The employment rates and other metrics of life got improved. Same with AI. When people think that AI will take their jobs, no, AI will not take their jobs. AI will augment their jobs. So the people, I would frame it in a way that AI will not take your job, but the person using AI will take your job. So if you are the person who is not using or leveraging AI in your day to day right now, you should be really worried. So there is a revolution, and we have to adopt it as soon as we can, especially as a product manager, uh, as product persons. We have to include or embed AI into our daily routine, not for the sake of it, that we have AI and it's very shiny, but to help us be more productive. For example, I can tell you, I can share a lot of examples how I automate a lot of my internal tasks using AI, using GPTs, using the APIs of GPTs. And it's crazy how many hours I save per week because before, so uh, there is also like this notion that there are pre-GPT product managers and they are post-GPT product managers. The product managers from pre-GPT era. So I'm one of them. So before using AI, you should know everything that you are going to do. That's when you can give them the best instructions, and then that's when you will get the best value from AI. AI is, again, I would say, neither artificial nor intelligent. So it does what you tell artificial intelligence to do. So it requires a lot of data. It requires a lot of training. It requires a lot of fine tuning. So you have to do all of it to get the best value out of it. So AI is going to be a big revolution, especially with LLMs, large language models. Things are going to change. Uh, there is going to be a spike in data augmentation. With very small data, you can create a lot of metadata around it, and you can go crazy with that. Uh, in AI, there is another thing that is taking over is I would say vector databases. That is taking over all the traditional databases we used to have. We used to have SQL, we used to have NoSQL, we used to have graph. Now we have vector databases. They are taking over everything because everything is vector, and there are less search times, there are less indexing complexities, and again, if you club that with LLMs, you can have semantic search, you can have similarity search. So things are getting really fast on the computational level. So AI is the revolution. So we have to write that, but uh, AI brings a lot of nuances, complexities, and sometimes I would say issues that can impact humans. For example, when we talk about AI, no one talks about the security implications of AI. For example, the data that we are using or data that we are giving to large language models that are open source, or the data that we are consuming, there needs to be regulations around it. There needs to be a very, if you are uh, leveraging LLMs or AI in your company, you need to be very conscious, or you need to be very proactive regarding the security policies of using AI. Otherwise, you can face some implications with data. So, but I think it will grow, and after LLMs, the next revolution in AI is going to be AGI. artificial general intelligence, and I think that is going to change a lot of things as well. So let's gear up.
Yeah, that's very interesting what you just mentioned about the data, about how we can use, uh, how we have to use AI and incorporate it in our product management day to day. That when I'm thinking about it, it is like it's like obvious for me because, for example, like even with the podcast and so on, it like helps me a lot to manage all the work that I have to do. Uh, but in my product management job, for the companies, like many companies is blocking actually, for example, like even like ChatGPT to like, so people cannot use that. Um, and I think it's not a good approach. We should like more educate ourselves how to use it safely, without um, not being careful with the data or something like that with the specific company data. But we need to use that. Yeah, we need to use that. And if not in a companies that we are working in our day to day and in our like side projects, because that's going to be a new normal. I think in few years. I don't know. It is a new normal. I think already.
It is already, and AI uh, combined with no code platforms, no code revolution, where anyone can build applications, and then the evolution of AGI, I think it is going to be really big. It is going to be really big in next 10 years. And companies that are really spending or investing on this part of the technology, they will grow exponentially in next 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, that's very also like interesting in case of democratization of knowledge, and skills. Um, okay, Ahmed, we are going to wrap up. So I have like three last questions for you. So the first one is about if you could give one piece of advice to our listeners about job hunting or managing their uniqueness, what would it be?
Very difficult, because whatever I'll say it will be very subjective to me. But I would say, don't look for perfect jobs. Don't look for perfect match. Try things out. Try what works for you. And if you see a job, for example, I would tell you in this region, you will always see job titles as fintech product manager required, real tech product management required, uh, health tech product manager is required. So don't get overwhelmed with those. Still apply, still give the interview, and try where you are good at, and then find your gaps and work on that. So don't look for perfect roles. You will never find perfect roles for your product journey. So start from somewhere, and then once you are in there in the ecosystem, then grow as you wish.
Yeah, that's very valuable advice for not seeking the perfection, just accepting that you are good enough and maybe this opportunity is good enough. And the second question is again about you. So, what are you most excited about in your upcoming projects or personal adventures?
I am not sure if I can share anything about the projects I'm working on in Dtek, but on the personal side, I have been trying a lot on the AI side and no code side, and I'm experimenting few things. I believe that the product that I have been dreaming to build is not that far.
Oh, wow. Okay, amazing. Congratulations. And I hope you succeed soon and you will, you will share it with the wider audience once it will be ready, of course, because I know it's top secret for you right now, but I'm excited for you. And for our listeners who want to connect with you or learn more about your work, where they can find you.
LinkedIn. I answer everyone on LinkedIn.
Okay, so I connect your LinkedIn profile to the podcast description. And I wanted to thank you, Ahmad, for accepting the invite, for being my guest, for being so open about your product management techniques, about your ADHD and how you manage that. Thank you very much, Ahmad, for this conversation.
No worries. Thank you, Beata, for having me here. and have a great day.
Thanks for joining me on another episode of Doing It My Way by Beata Matras. If you enjoyed this episode, please do not forget to subscribe. Remember, this podcast is a dynamic journey and your feedback is very welcomed. Connect with me on social media. I would like to hear your thoughts, questions, and topic suggestions. And stay tuned for upcoming episodes. And until next time, keep doing it your way.